We've received many instructions pointing us in the direction of truth or what constitutes reality. Perhaps the most common instruction is that of letting go or acceptance of the present moment. On the basis of this instruction, seeing how identification with the ego causes suffering and prevents truth from revealing itself, we could say. When we hold on, when we don't accept, when we resist what is, then there's some kind of relationship with what's happening. It could be a positive or a negative relationship. You could say that when we awaken, we're transcending this relationship or this attachment, and we're stepping back into a dispassionate or non-identified perspective with what's happening. And at first, this feels like stepping back into witnessing or observing rather than getting caught up in what's happening. In the attached state, the believed thoughts fuel emotions, which then create a further story. And then that's kind of this vicious circle that erupts. Acceptance or letting go dissolves this circle, as the Buddha calls the circle or wheel of samsara. And this is not something we need to figure out with the mind. As with all the instructions, we engage with them in our direct experience in the present moment. And you can do this right now, observing what's happening in this moment. Are there thoughts about what I'm saying? Is there an emotion present? Are there physical sensations in the body? Perhaps at the foremost in your attention if you're feeling some pain. Again, it doesn't matter what is happening. It's all about how we relate to what is happening. Whatever your experience is, it's already happening. It's already happened. It's already manifested. You have no control over what happened in the last moment. And you can't know what will happen in the next moment. What happened may suck or may be really unpleasant. The only thing we can know for certain about it is that it will change in the next moment. Impermanence dictates that it won't remain the same. There's some solace in this when it's negative stuff that's going on. When we try to control what has already happened, this doesn't make any sense, and we suffer because we can't change what already happened. And if we project into the future what might happen and try to control life and events, we suffer again because we can't control what unfolds. We do have some limited amount of influence, but ultimately, what arises next is out of our control and simply arises based on causes and conditions. You've heard this many times. It's everything unfolding based on innumerable causes and conditions. The way things are in any moment is simply the way things are. It's simply reality unfolding. And reality won't change because we think it should be different. The ego will continue to tell us that it should be different, but this is simply an egoic belief that there's something wrong with the reality of the moment. For example, we get drawn down a path of struggle with the reality of the world because we believe the egoic mind when it says things like, if we don't try to control everything, then the world will spiral out of control. Have you had this kind of thought arise in your mind? I think we all have. In addition, you may say things like, if we don't struggle with life or resist life, then we won't work for social justice or environmental sustainability. We won't try to make the world a better place. It's basically saying that reality needs our argument with it. Otherwise, the world is never going to get better, and it's going to actually spin out of control. And we apply this to our internal states as well. We might feel a painful emotional state, and the egoic mind will chime in again with its as it usually does with its dialogue, chime in with, this is wrong and it shouldn't be this way. I shouldn't feel this way. And when we believe that something's wrong with us, we treat ourselves badly. The more we believe the thought that something's wrong with us, the worse we tend to treat ourselves. We don't realize that our difficult emotional state is here because we argue and struggle with what is. It's not here because we didn't control enough of life's events. It's here because we struggle with how life's is unfolding. In the process, our hearts and minds close, and actually clarity and balance diminish, and therefore our options for how to move forward actually diminish. We feel stuck and frustrated. In fact, the world and our internal emotional state are where they are in this moment precisely because we argue and struggle with them. So key to understand this. We look and we see this again and again. And at some point it hits us that struggling with life is ridiculous. It's insane. We realize we can never win the argument with life or the argument with ourselves. And once we realize this, the whole structure of struggle starts to collapse, really. This is when our hearts and minds open and clarity emerges, and our options to move forward multiply, sometimes exponentially. And this embracing life is really the beginning of the end for the ego, the beginning of the end for our unnecessary suffering. Letting go of resistance to life does not mean that we refrain from working for change in the world or for working for a more peaceful internal emotional state. This is key as well. And I often get this question. If I accept everything as it is, then do I just allow injustice to run rampant? Letting go of resistance does not mean passivity or indifference towards the world or ourselves. Letting go of resistance means accepting the present moment as it is, acknowledging the reality of the situation without resistance or attachment to how things should be. And doing so allows us to move forward effectively with knowing the circumstances at hand clearly, and options emerge in the space of allowing. Letting go of resistance really empowers us to approach internal emotional states and issues in the world with greater clarity and balance, with resilience, and the ability to really move forward with compassionate and skillful action. I hope that clarified a little more about what letting go and acceptance means and how this gets embodied and actualized in our lives. I hope you found it useful. If you did, hit the like button, and please subscribe to the channel. And I have a free ebook that you can also access by looking in the description below. There's a link to get the free ebook, which I hope you find useful. It really encompasses all the teachings that I've been offering on this YouTube channel. Bye for now.